Hello everybody, welcome to another Trainz route building live stream. It has been a while, and if this were the MVR, that would mean that in that entire time there would have been no progress made on the route whatsoever, because that route was built entirely on stream. Luckily, this is not the case with this route. So, the plan is to firstly show you what I've been building, and then to continue building. Hello, Real Hanswasser. Kango, hello. Eagle, hello. VGR, welcome, since you are apparently in chat. So, I did a whole bunch of work up here, and this took ages, like building cities in Trainz takes ages, because it's not just placing down every single house and rotating it and all of that sort of stuff and all the roads and all those things. It's also figuring out which assets to put where so that it looks interesting as you're going by, and it's not all just the exact same asset. Even though the assets do repeat, you've got to figure out ways, like a puzzle you put together where you slot the pieces into different ways so that it feels like it's new and not repeating, even though it actually is. So a lot of this I have previously built. I think all of this that I've currently got on stream, yeah, I remember now, I did build this previously. But over here, this is kind of the bit where we've got new stuff coming up. So I'm really happy with how this station turned out. I think I already showcased it previously with the buildings going up like that. But all of this stuff over here, that's new. So yeah. Oh, and I also decided to make certain green spaces have a different texture so that it looks like it's intentionally blank and not unintentionally blank. So yeah, this continues on. There's lots of details around as well in different places, but you'll have to find that yourself, a lot of it. Right. So this thing carries on over here. And then over to this point, where I've got sort of a semi-shopping street going along. I imagine this would be quite a nice place to watch trains go by. Over here it goes to roundabout, then continues along, leads on to this station, which I don't think I had made previously on the previous stream, but this took ages to make because all of these are, I mean, this is of course custom made, so it's comprised of all sorts of different assets. Like if I select this, look at all of the different spline points and everything that this is made of. Like if I click here, for example, you can see all of these are unique different bits that the station's made of, so that took ages. But I really liked how it turned out, especially like when you're on top here and you can look out over the canal as the train comes in, or if you imagine driving on this, and as you're coming in, you've got timings where trains depart or come in up at the top, because that is the main line up here. Right, and then a quick look going the other way, because it's of course bi-directional, that it has to actually look good. So yeah, coming this way, and then connecting back up to where the rest of the route is. So yeah, that's a lot of the stuff that I've done in the cities. Well, in the city. Took a lot of time, even though it's just basically from there to here, but still. But yeah, I'm really happy with how this is turning out. I'll read chat and then show you the other bit that I've been working on. Ozzy is so lovely and London-y. I sometimes wish Trainz had procedural generation for forests and cities and such. Yeah, well, it kind of does with the brush, the scrapbook thing, where for example, I think that for the main bulk of the city that you'll see, like if you're driving along here, most of what you see is the deliberately placed, well thought out scenery. But then if you look to the side, you look back here, you still need to see city stuff. And so most of this I'm probably going to fill in with a scrapbook brush, so that, and then of course tidy up the edges so that it actually connects properly. But that should be much easier than it was in previous versions. That's so impressive. Oh, thank you. Shadows between the two bridges by the canal. Put black swans in the water, maybe? Not yet. I don't know. And or pond scum. Scrapbook is just copy-paste though. Well, it's a bit better than copy-paste, because if you do it in one go, you can make a pattern continue depending on how you built it. Like for example, where is it? There we go. Like for example, with the background town thing. I know, very deliberate. Sorry, very, very good word choice there. Like the houses that I use in the background for towns, if I just continue, I made it such that if I just continue to paint an area like this, that the pattern itself continues, so that you will actually be able to look through, and then I can just put roads along here, and it'll still sort of work. And you can also rotate the brush, the angle, and then put in different angles through that. It's good copy-paste, but it's just that. Yeah, copy-paste, but brush. There's no real random object rotation, random distancing, or anything like that. True. Oh, hello, Slovak Eagle. Welcome. Yeah, so I had just showed all of this stuff that I'd been working on in the city that I've been making here. I don't know if you've just joined or if you were away before, but yeah, basically all of this stuff. I've not really done any of the distance work yet. That'll come at some point. But yeah. So, that's enough of the city. The other bit, well, first of all, I filled in the ocean tiles here, and I don't really know why it's got two different colors here, because if you zoom in, the height here, you can see on the right there, that number, it's -4 meters depth. Over here, water, it's got the exact same ground texture here. Over here, or it actually is that? Or is that the reason why? No, see, that's odd. I'm painting over the edge there, and there's also -4 meters. If I take the sand texture from over here, and if I paint over on this side, nope, it doesn't change anything. That's so weird. I don't know what's going on there, but yeah, I filled that in the water, and then actually I'll show you from down here. And then, so this is the bit we made last time from around here onwards. This reminds me, I haven't worked on Sea Mini today. I see. So this bit from here is new. So a little horse meadow thing here with little stables. A little stable. Right, and then the line continues along here with a little road running beside it, and I deliberately put the bush placement such that if you're driving in cab mode, you'll still see glimpses of the ocean, like you can clearly see the ocean. Like for example, here is a big open space where you can look at the ocean, and then you've got bushes interrupting again, and so on. And so you've got some managed woodland over on the side, forestry stuff. And then here, these are the baseboards we'd placed, and where we figured out where to put the land so that it looks good from Hadley Head over there. And yeah, I've decided to go with a more open area where there are multiple flocks of animals or herds of animals that share the same space, so it's not as separated on the left, which is why over here, yeah, I put a sign there as well. Over here, you've got a cattle grid thing, so that cars can still go through, but animals won't really be able to walk across, except for humans that have long feet. Right. Also, I really like this shot, just off the ocean in the distance with yeah, it's set up. Maybe add a foot crossing while the tracks are going adjacent to that managed forest and a path into it. Not there. Not on that bit. Right. Yeah, because with the new, well, since the last update to TRC, it's got automatic distance detection thingy. So if you leave it at 0, it uses automatic distance detection. So that works quite well in most scenarios. But yeah, I really like this view. You can just imagine if you're going on a walk and you see the lights starting to flash, and then you can watch trains race along here at 80 miles an hour along the curve. Right, so then continues to curve into the valley with loads of sheep, of course. And then as you come around the curve, you see a little town in the distance, just nestled in the valley. Comes around here, goes underneath the bridge to reveal more stuff, and then you've got this little station here. So yeah, on this side it's already ground level, the platform. On this side, of course, it's built up a bit, and yeah, we've got a little town there. On this side, we've got a tunnel where it goes through the little hill, comes out here. Then I want this to carry on straight to here and then go through another little tunnel, come out there, and then follow along the valley for a little bit more before it crosses over a bridge, goes through another tunnel while the river turns left and connects up to the lines back there. So yeah, this is what it looks like from above currently. And yeah, of course you've got a church which is oriented the correct direction, and I did also put a few Easter eggs around here. And then I thought that maybe this could be like an old mill where they used the water or something previously, and you've got a little key there or something like that. And then yeah, you've just got farmsteads and stuff up here on the hill. And yeah, I'm really happy with how this is turning out. It's not quite finished yet, but I'm happy with how it's turning out. Got a pub on the corner there. You can just sit on one of the really slanted benches and just watch the trains rush through. And since this is the main line, you'll also have some freight trains going through here, so you can watch those, and you've got a great view there. If you come along here, you've got another cattle grid, because again, this whole area is one big animal field place thing. It's not a section of meadow. I don't know what the technical term for it is. But yeah, there's one big area that animals roam around on. So you've got that. If you go this way, follow it around. We've got some castle ruins up here, which are definitely castle ruins, not anything else. And then over on this side, we've got this little road where you can actually have a great view of the ocean all the way on that side, wrapping all the way around. You can even look down, you can even look over at Hadley Head over there. And this goes all the way over to this like Coast Guard watchtower thingy here, which they look out for ships and people who might need help. So yeah, if you've got this here, which also you've got a nice view of the railway going along there. And so yeah, that's what I've been working on. That's what I've made on the route from the previous stream to now. Right, so pretty. This has gotta be in the trailer. 102%. Honestly, I love this so much. Oh, thanks. Going around that mountain gives me vibes from that old Hawes Junction route from TRS 2006. Yeah, I thought of the same thing going around the hill. Because Hawes Junction is on the Settle Carlisle line, I believe. It's a section of that. And yeah, with the dry stone wall, I believe that's still the same asset that they used on Hawes Junction. But yeah, the big open fields it does feel a bit like it. And I like that, because I like that route. Hey, I remember that. Bit of gravel in front of the pub. You mean here? Maybe. I mean, we've already got the kind of cobblestone thingy with dirt around it there, so I can just put a little bit of this in. And I know this isn't perfect connection, but that's really tricky to do on the curves, especially when it's going up and downhill. So for the moment, that's good enough. I might improve it at some point later, but not at the moment. Yeah, and then I also, of course, put the third rail on this entire section all the way up to here. I haven't put in... On this one, I've put in the third rail on the outside on this bit, but I still need to do that on the other 3 junctions. Or LCF flowers? Open pasture! Not the LCF flowers, not here. Niet chimney mate, hahaha. Shardais, will you put a rot or gelb rundumlicht in the watchtower? No, I don't think so. Maybe on specific sessions, I don't know. Jealous that you don't have to deal with catenary. Meanwhile, I have to use 2 separate keyers to keep track of it. Yeah. Although with the third rail, if you've got something like this, where you've got like a road crossing in a curve, that's a pain, because you can't just align the spline points with the track and then have it go around the curve naturally. So you've then got to separate it into individual smaller spline sections, and then you've got to set the height and distance of each individual point for the curve, and then if you make one bit high resolution, you've got to make the entire curve high resolution. But it's been a very long time since I've done catenary, so sure, I'm not gonna I'm not gonna liken it to that, or lichen, whichever you choose. Right. Oh, 2 layers of it to keep track. Oh, I see. Yeah, I saw the Central Europe Mini Germany teaser. Very well done. I love it. Right. So, as for what I want to build today is actually, tell you what, I'll do a little bit of the third rail, just so you can see my current process and maybe improve it if you've got some ideas of how I can improve that process, that workflow, and then we'll continue the line along here a bit. Maybe do a little bit of terraforming over here. Right, so I'll just do it in classic. So my Actually, I don't need the... 1 second. Limit contextual information, yes please. Right. So, actually with all this it might be better in the in Severe 2.0 anyway. Right, first of all, I put the spline along the section in one go, roughly how long I want it to be. Then so actually this is all flat, so this there's 11.37 meter height, which is the same over here. So now I've got to go into the individual spline points and set it to 11.37 meters on both ends. And then to make sure that it's actually on the shoe, I place a train like that, so it's actually, when it's on a curve I usually put it there, so it's the correct angle anyway. So I can see the shoe there, and then I take the spline point and I move it underneath so that it's pretty much like that. And I put the train on the other spline point so that the shoe is on there. I take that, move it over so that that spline point, not over here, but this specific spline point is on the shoe itself, or under the shoe itself. But now, because this is on a curve, it doesn't quite work right. Also, I figured out that if you select a spline like this, the point where that's selected is where you clicked. So if I inserted a spline point, it would do it here. Now, if you right click and move the camera, you can see that the point here follows the compass. But if you move the compass all the way to one of the ends, then it snaps to the middle of the spline, which is really useful. So, move over here, so it's in the middle of the spline. Then I insert a spline point. Now we're going to use spline point. I move the car over, so that's in the middle. And actually on this one, yeah, I'm not looking at the ends here, I'm looking at the middle where the actual spline point is, and that looks pretty good. So I think with this section, maybe 2 more spline points are gonna do it, like one here and one, and like halving this section, halving the other one as well. So I'll put that on there. Yeah, you'll see this one's off completely. So I'll just put that like this. Then select this one. And then back on there. And then after I've completed a section of third rail, I usually hop into driver and put the camera in the front, so like this, so that I can watch the shoe and the rail, and just have it going on at like 40 miles an hour or something, so I can watch if there are any sections where the shoe leaves the rail or whether where the margin is too large. Right, so got that. And now if I place it so that the shoe is between the 2 spline points in the middle, then I can see if it's properly on there. And that's, I mean, it's okay, but it could be better, not great. So I will actually just add a new spline point in between these 2. Now that's pretty much already in the middle of that, so I can move that over. And then let's see, okay, that's where the middle point is of the next spline section. That looks okay. This one, actually, hold on, where's the middle? There's the middle. Put that on there. That looks okay. Now let's check this one. Zoom in. That one's a bit too far in. I don't want the rail to disappear behind the shoe from the other side, because then it's a bit obvious that it's not quite proper. Like that. Okay, got that. Now I still need to do the end bits, which curve down. Thanks, Slovak Eagle, by the way, for that advance warning from the Argentina map. It has saved me a lot of time to know that the shoe has to be sloped for the shoe to pick it up, except for for it to pick up the shoe and to prevent the shoe from breaking off. So next step is, well, I've got to do that bit. So firstly, I usually have, so as far as I can zoom in, actually I'll set the camera with the FOV that I usually use. So, which by the way, you can reset to the default FOV just by pressing the corresponding alpha key. So if I, actually I can't change the FOV in Surveyor 2.0, but in classic Surveyor, if you hold, well, I've got it set to command. If you hold command, you can change the field of view. And then if you press the camera key again, like for example here, this free roam camera, so if I press 4, it resets it to the default, which works in driver as well. Right, so I zoom in as far as it'll go before it goes into first person walking around mode. And then I use right click to kind of align this circle with that circle as best as I can, so it just overlaps slightly. Insert a spline point, then select this, so that the selection point is right where those two circles overlap. Add another spline point, and then I straighten this one, the innermost one of the short section. So then I've got this tiny little section there. And then I just drag down the end of it so that it just kind of looks right-ish. Sort of like that, maybe. And yeah, now I've got a downward sloping end bit. And with using that, using those selection circles, like the reason why I said zoomed in all the way is because if you zoom out, then the scale of them change, or rather, it doesn't. Well, actually, yeah, it doesn't stay the same in world, I mean, so that the distance I can measure it using that anyway. So let's do that bit on here. So that's overlapping slightly. Add that, select this bit, straighten that, go here. Also, I did change it so that the context menu is spacebar, like it is in Blender, because I just find that really handy. Okay, there we go. So I've done that, but now I'm just going to quickly hop into driver to actually see if the shoe remains on it properly. Kango says, I've not watched it quite yet, but I will do. Everybody who's watching should, if you're interested in Trainz stuff. Seen the 218 in the summer here. Oh wow, interesting. MEDL supermarket. 4 of a 4. Ooh, exciting. Right. So, usually go into DCC mode for this. Let's set the junctions. Good. Also, this isn't completely set up yet in regards to like trackside objects, because I still need to put in like the speed signs. So, and I need to make the this signal have a feather. I need to put in Morpeth boards, AWS ramps. That'll be done in a pass at the end of the actual route development, so that I'm actually sure where I want them and all that sort of stuff. So now with the path set correctly, I usually change the FOV to be to maximum, so I can zoom in all the way, disable the HUD, so that I can see the shoe down there, and then just speed the train up a little bit. Not too fast though, so you don't miss any bits of it. Right, and now it's on there. Of course, the shoe itself would have springs, so a little bit of vertical variance is acceptable. And yeah, that's pretty much stayed on that section perfectly. Oh right, the door's open because I'm already on the station a little bit. Right, so that worked. Apply the throttle, not too much. Yeah. So if anyone has any tips for how I can improve that workflow of putting in the third rail, I would be I would very much appreciate it to know that. So if you're watching this live or archived, please do get in touch if you have tips for that. So, yeah, I might as well. Actually, should I do the next bits, or should we get to some terraforming? Tips for what? Putting on the third rail more efficiently than I am doing in terms of workflow. Sorry, I was building catenary. Yeah, like my process of putting on the third rail, even though I have streamlined it a bit in terms of my process, it is still quite time consuming. And if someone has tips for how I can improve that, make it faster, then I would appreciate that. Knowing that, I should say. Right, so I think it's probably a good idea if we actually continue building the line and do the exciting stuff instead of putting on more third rail. Also, I've decided to call this town Eisenbridge. So, and the German word Eisen, as in iron, to kind of hint at some history where, yes, Eisen as in iron, yep, exactly, Eisenbridge. Because that hints at this being maybe an old medieval town where maybe it was settled by Germans or something like that. And then, or that's where it got its name from, or maybe they originally had an iron bridge here, or something like that, or maybe the river was named Iron from geodes, because in rivers you can have like not geodes but like clumps of iron that get washed down the river and that accumulate on the corner on the bends, so you can get these nodules of iron in rivers, which also swamps. And so maybe that's where it got its name from, if it's the river's name or something like that. It really is just about aligning, but I think if you make a trackside asset as a marker, you could make it faster with aligning. That's a good point. That's something I will look into. Maybe I will do that. Right. Thank you. Eisenbrücken Großbritannien. Yes, basically. So, next is, I suppose, figuring out with this bridge, well, not bridge, opposite, this tunnel, if I want this to be a straight line or if I want it to curve slightly here. Because over here it's a straight line going through the tunnel, through the station, under the bridge, that's all a straight line. And it might look good, like I'm imagining if you're driving through here, you've already, from all the way back here, you'll be able to see that there's another tunnel on the other side. And if you're going straight through, that could be an interesting thing to kind of already know, because then when you pop out here, this scene will be revealed to you as you then cut across it and then go back in. So, or we could have a slight curve here, and then if the tunnel kind of come in at this angle, but then I guess let's see what a straight shot would look like, and then we can see if we need to put in a curve. Eagle says, with normal catenary, you have the advantage that every 30 to 70 meters you have a pillar that aligns the wire for you. With third rail, it really is just about aligning manually somehow. Yeah. I think side curve would look better. Maybe. Using a train trackside asset is the best thing I can think of. Yeah. I mean, I think the advantage of using a train, I mean, The advantage of using a train is that, especially in Surveyor 2.0, is that if I select the train and I put it on and I release it, it automatically snaps to the tracks like that. Whereas in Surveyor 2.0, with a track side object, like for example, this buffer here, if I grab this, put it there, it doesn't automatically snap. Then I'd have the extra step of pressing space, going reattach to track every time. Whereas if I use the train, it automatically snaps. So maybe in this instance, a train is the most efficient way of doing it. Aren't there tracks that already have third rail as part of the asset? There are some old ones, yes. Some really quite old ones. But that just... It would be good if there's if there were specific versions of these particular tracks, but because I'd need to be able to mix and match if it has it or not, or like switching back and forth where it overlaps sometimes, it doesn't overlap, or on junctions or crossings or stuff. But yeah, a slight curve out of the tunnel and into the next tunnel with possibly a stone bridge over the tracks or a small crossing. There are, but each one is different. Yeah. Maybe. That could look nice. That could look nice indeed. Let's just see what it would look like to have this as a straight shot through. Now, this goes... Does this have any... I don't think that these junction... No, these are on the not on this section, aren't they? Hold on, I'll just quickly save. Steinbrücken, Großbritannien. Yeah, if I put that in there, remove that. Okay, no, that works. That's good. So the junctions are not on this stretch. And by the way, this is currently flat, so there's no grade here. There was before, but not on this bit. So now I can just take that and extend it. So this will be this would be a straight shot like this. And then if I put in a spline point there, okay, this one's straightened, good. Then if I put in a spline point, well, let's put the spline point in around here. So we've now got 3 sections. I'll straighten this one. Now I would like the tracks to kind of come out of the tunnel sort of here, so that you've got it already aligned to continue along the river valley. No, that's not what the river's called. And that would result in a curve like that, which means that this needs to be pushed back significantly, probably to about there, I'd say. That seems like it's probably far enough in for the tunnel to begin. What sort of curve is that gonna? Yeah, that's a reasonable curve, I'd say. So then I do think that I'm going to put in a little stone bridge here, because then I can also have the little path that I've got here go underneath it, because I do put in little footpaths in the countryside. And I know this one's a little bit hard to see, but that's partially deliberate, but also partially from out of necessity, because there's the only footpath that actually lies on the terrain on the side. So then, yeah, this little path goes across here, then over a little stile, and kind of goes along the tracks here a bit, and then, yeah, down to here, where you've got the classic British public footpath sign. Shadow's Eagle meant a stone bridge over the tracks, though. Oh? Put a stone bridge over the tracks or a small crossing. Well, having the stone bridge over the tracks would... Then you'd have to have a lot of build-up on this side to be able to get up to the stone bridge. Plus, you've already got, over here, you've already got the tracks going under a bridge, then under another bridge, then under the tunnel. And so I think it would be better to have a stone bridge here for the tracks to go over with a path underneath, and then the tracks go into the tunnel. No, I mean, unless the stone bridge is also across the river. Crossing the river. Right in front of the tunnel entrance. Let me send you a quick sketch. Oh, right. So right here, you mean? I do like the idea of that, but on this particular spot, I think it would make more sense to have a to have a bridge for the tracks to go over, also for drainage purposes. Actually, I suppose I should probably open up Discord if you're gonna. Actually, hold on. Let me just quickly make sure that I've not got any other stuff on here that I don't want you to see because it might be private. No, that's all good. Let me just quickly switch back over. Here we go. Yeah. Gotcha now. Or in front of the entrance of the next tunnel? I don't know. I think it might feel better. I think it might feel better to have a bridge with the tracks going over it here to kind of create the feeling of changes in elevation, since the tracks been going under so much stuff to go over something. Might be good. I'm just waiting for Eagle's sketch, because I don't want to start building stuff if I might be convinced by Eagle's sketch to build it differently. I also love how, as you're coming around this way, it's just the ocean gets revealed to you, and then the coastline, you can look in the distance and you know that that's Hadley Head all the way back there. And yeah, I'm just really happy with how this is turning out. I would love to visit this place IRL. I mean, once it's finished, of course, but you know what I mean. Yeah. Oh, there we go. Station, new area. I'm assuming that is a cow of some sort. Grass, trees, specifically some sort of conifer tree. And then I'm assuming these are the tunnels. Oh right, that's the tunnel entrance. That's the tunnel entrance, and that's the bridge going over. I see what you mean. Yeah, but with this sort of design, if I did put in like a bridge going across there, then that would leave the bridge like really high in the air over there, and then I'd need some way of getting down from there, and I don't really want to do that here. I would like to prefer the flow of the landscape as much as possible in this area. But I do get what you mean, and thanks for the lovely drawing. Right. A forest above the tunnel with a bridge connecting fields. That's the bridge. Yeah. You can have the track be on a stone bridge. Oh, so you mean both, maybe. That's an interesting thought. Like over here, over here. Here I've got the tracks going over the viaduct, and I've kind of got this connecting underneath. Make the bridge be like 5 meters in front of the tunnel, without changing landscape actually. Let's have a look at what you mean by that specifically. Like if I take this bridge, for example, which I've used to connect the fields over here, if I now were to place this over where the tunnel were to start about-ish, and I make it high enough so that the train can go underneath, then on this side, it of course connects to the field, but on this side, it's just floating in the air. So I'd have to raise the terrain up to that height for the bridge to work, unless I were to rotate the bridge, but then you've got the weirdly angled walls, which isn't really gonna work. Unless I'm just not getting what you mean. I might just not be getting what you mean. Now that's a steep bridge. Yeah. I mean, that would also be a steep bridge. Imagine finishing the whole route, and this is the one bridge that, like, that's in the final bit. Like, but you, like, imagine putting in, like, retaining walls over here to actually make this bridge look like it's supposed to fit into the landscape like this. And trying to publish the route like that would just be ridiculous. Like, is this what you meant, Eagle, or did you mean something different? Maybe make it diagonal? Well, you've got to fit two tracks through that. But yeah, I could make it a bit more diagonal, sort of like that, maybe. But that really doesn't do much. No, Zach, it's not a bug. It's a feature. Yeah. Yeah, I was about to turn on lights anyway. Oh, there we go. Yeah, that is what I thought you meant. But in this... Oh, you mean like if the cutting is already going into the hill, to use the terrain on either side for the bridge to connect to. Oh, right, I see now what you mean. I don't really think that that's going to work in this situation, because the other tunnel entrance is likely going to look a lot like this one. And so if I put the bridge here, sort of like that, then the other end is still going to be in the air, because there is not going to be a cutting on this side. Yeah, further inside the hill. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, I know what you mean. It's a good idea to keep in mind. I might do it by the exit of the tunnel that then, when it leaves the valley cutting. That's a good thing to keep in mind, but not for this bit. Okay, so I've got to now have a look at what sort of bridge I might want. Maybe another one of this, perhaps? Next tunnel, add a cutting. Yeah. I mean, it might be sort of similar to how I've made it here, with a cutting leading up to the tunnel, and then having a bridge going across here. That could look quite nice. No, not in this specific situation, but in a more like that sort of thing. Right, so let's see. what would it look like to have just a... Oh, there we go. Just a little bridge like that, although I would have to lower the terrain slightly on that, which would be reasonable. Do I want 3 arches or 2 arches? Probably 3 arches, because then I can fill these with walls. I can put walls around there, and then I can have it just be one hollow arch. Okay. Time to put the other track on. So first I'm going to get a ruler, grade at 0%, good. Make that 6 feet. Obastra 916. Oh, hello, apparently. Welcome. Hold on. Yeah, sometimes you've really got to go all the way down into walking mode to be able to correctly move the points with the snapping, how that is. Right, so now let's align this properly. Around there. And then I will clone this spline, align that. Floors. Floors. I hate floors. I think that you've picked a good new nemesis. Although I think floors have a lot to offer if you give them a fair chance. But, I mean, if you need a new nemesis, you need a new nemesis. What can you do? But honestly, did something specific happen with floors recently that has made you hate floors, or... Oh? I hate floors as well sometimes. I hate catenary, especially the German one. Ooh, why is the German one worse than the others? Oh no! What happened? Well, it can't be the stairs, can it? No, it's just bus floors. Oh, are they icky? They can be, yes. Okay, so now I'm just gonna gently change the slope here a little bit so that we've got a nice amount of space there. And then a little bit there as well to keep the flow of the hill as natural as possible. The templates are... Oh, no, just bus floors. Ooh, oh, I see, for repaint. Oh, virtual ones, The German catenary, despite its universality, has only one type of insulator wire. I am not well versed enough about catenary to know why you would need more than one type of insulator. Feel free to explain, because I would like to learn, but I have no idea. Okay, 11.37 meters, so I'll set that as the height. And set that as small as possible. And then I'll just kind of draw the terrain in very harshly to start with, and then I can use the grade tool to smoothen it out a bit. I see now. What's wrong with them? Which bus? Street deck? You cheated. So we... master deck? For catenary, if you want it to be realistic, you need to do some planning before putting it in. We have not done that in Dabach. As a result, I am now eating the consequences of the actions of others. For a wonderful reason. Sounds completely unsarcastic. What went wrong in the no planning phase? Like, is it the layout of junctions or stuff where there's no space for posts, or I mean, I don't want to eat up too much of your time by explaining it in detail, but I would like to know in more detail if you're willing to share. Yeah, trying to figure out what is what. Yeah, it can help, Blue, it can help to put on, like, if you make like a colored grid and put like numbers on it, like rows and columns, like alphabet, like numbers on the top, letters on the side, and then just put that as the whole texture. Then on the model you can see where which numbers show up, and that's a way you can kind of figure out which area to look at, and then you can narrow it down from there. That's what I did when I was repainting stuff for the for the MVR. What I do when something like that happens, me not knowing what's what, I usually just draw really bright and different colors on different parts to see, oh, so it's yellow. So yellow is this and magenta is this. I thought this would be the easiest repaint ever, but then the vehicle I chose had the vinyl applied weirdly. And then I was trying to figure out why I couldn't match it up. On a layer, of course, yeah. Oh, I usually do make a colored grid, but with OMSI it just takes an eternity to do that. Oh, I've never repainted anything for OMSI, so I could not comment on that. Okay, electricity out of power plants has 3 phases. Generally you want to use different phases for parallel tracks. So on T1 you have phase 1, on T2 you have phase 2, and interchange them every so often, because electricity is not infinite. But that is not the point. Well, thanks for explaining it then. I'm joking. You cannot touch 2 phases together for a simplified explanation of boom. The thing we have done is touch the phases with the wires. This is where insulators come into play. Okay. OMSI has an eternal load crash cycle, and if you click it will panic and then never break the cycle. A very stable game then. Notoriously stable. Yeah, now I might leave this steep if this were rock or something, but with the parallax textures you can see there's those weird dark shadows where it kind of tries to round the texture off around the corner, so you kind of have to smoothen it out. I mean, in this particular case I would smoothen it out anyway because it's supposed to be an earthwork, but if this were like a rock or something, then it would be really annoying to have to make it smoother. But yeah, the joys of OMSI, eh? Alright, then Eagle says, you use insulators to, well, insulate the phases, create neutral sections, etc. Right. This is useful if you need to shut down something because of an electrical fault. If you use only one connection for the whole station, that station is out of operation for electric trains. You need battery-powered trains. Oh, sorry, that was probably a bit too much in your current state of annoyance. And yes, they were an actual thing intended for mainline freight traffic, and it's a whole thing. Well, There's Your Problem made a really good episode about them. Like American. Anyway. If you use more phases, you can shut down only the problem part of the station. We have not done this. Okay. So, why do you need, like, why would you need different types of insulators, though? How much do you understand electric schematics? A little bit, probably not well enough. Okay, I will send you something for now. Okay. I'll have a look. Blue says, Slavic Eagle, can I be the resistor to your capacitor? Shardise, Eagle said later. Oh, sorry, I'll send you something later. Oh, that's fine. Yeah, I misread that. Thank you for clarifying. Sorry, already taken. Right. Ooh, that's the wrong spline. Not spline, texture. There we go. So, Blue, what repaint were you working on, or are you working on? Right, I need to... Oh, right, that's actually really good. I was about to say that I need to figure out where the tunnel entrance needs to be at the latest, or earliest technically if you look at it the other way. And it's pretty much right here, where the straight section begins. Wow, that's awful. All will be revealed, hopefully, in half an hour or else. The big lemon? Oh, wow. Well, big lemons are big lemons. Okay. Right. So let's get the tunnel. Actually, I know I need to dig away on the other end slightly. So roughly how far in I want the tunnel to be. Probably around there. Or maybe a little bit more. Yeah, like that. That looks good. Actually, yeah, that's probably comparable size. The big lemon? Ah, oh yes, I remember. Oh, that in the background, is that Cutty Snark? Or what is that in the background? What ship is that in the background? Tell me! Hold on. Is that the same ship? No, that looks different. No, that's different. I don't know what other ship that was. For the master deck, oh! The reason why I would love to have more insulators is because I won't have to redo the whole catenary placement in Darbach. Because the Germans, as wise as they are, have only one type of insulator wire. They have a CC insulator. Catenary, as you may know, has 3 positions. Yes, IC and O, which is basically left, center, and right. Or right, left, center. Or in, center, out, technically. The position is the German catenary. The problem is the German catenary, unlike most, tilts left and right. This makes the splines not match in shape, and as much as I can not use the CC without reworking the whole station in the style. As such, sorry. Yeah, I see what you mean. Picture staying in Bristol. They took over CTP's operations, alright. Which is why we have NRU. Down there as Deedle's pairs. Also, what is this? Are you hitting on me? Eagle, Blue likes playing games in chat. Don't take anything that is mildly or unmildly weird or insulting too seriously. Right. So, I say spares because there's always at least one of the two out, if not both. I can hit with whom I can hit with more than just my fists. Oh no. Here we go, huh? Blue likes to play games in chat. So a child then, understood. No, not a child. Not a child. Just someone who likes to be very interesting in chat, shall we say. Right, so, other tunnel. Come on. Oh, right, it's a track. Interesting is a kind choice of words. So, is MHU interesting on mic? Most of the time, yeah. Aren't we all? Well, I suppose it depends on how tired someone is. If they're quite tired, they may not be very interesting in chat or in VC. Or maybe that's when they're the most interesting, because then they might not be as thoughtful about what they say if they're tired. Who knows? Okay, where's this dig hole? I need the dig hole. There's one. Right. Now I'm just going to place these in such a way that they... that's annoying. Yeah, that they get rid of all of the terrain in there. Also, Eagle, something that might interest you is, I've noticed that with the dig holes, if you change their height, it changes the terrain height around it as well. So if I increase the height like that, then here, over here on this bit, now I've got the terrain going all the way up to this height here. Whereas if I leave the dig hole down there, it kind of leaves the terrain flat in this area. So changing the height of the dig holes actually changes the invisible terrain height around it. What's worse than flaws? The bleeding cab moldings broken into a gazillion unlabeled pieces. Yeah, they probably just used some sort of smart UV unwrap feature where it just automatically chooses where to mark the seams for the cuts and then unwraps it in such a way that all the pieces aren't overlapping, with no real regard for how they're arranged. Cairo says, Slovak Eagle Blue also posts many huge messages in the Minecraft streams for me to read out. It's very often thoroughly humorous. Yes. Yes. And it is quite annoying feature. Yeah, about the dig holes. Not the chat messages, the dig holes. Yeah, you're right. It is. Although I suppose that maybe for something that actually removes part of the train, it has to technically be like a turntable or something, how that uses it, and maybe it has to deform the train in some way. They weren't that long. Well, they were far longer than that. Haha. Okay. Yeah, and then another annoying bit is that you've got to pretty much exclusively use splines around the tunnel entrances to cover things up, because objects sometimes don't retain their height. Well, as long as Twitch allows, innit? Right. I can hear an owl outside, even though it is not completely night yet. The sky is still a sort of dark greyish blue, although all the trees are just black silhouettes. Quite dramatic. And grammatic if you want to write it down. But who would want to do that? Also, I've got to put in, replace the spline with the tracks with an eraser track. No, assets to update with. And then I've got to find the... where is it? Show filters there, of course. Got to find the tunnel track. Euro... No. Which one is it? This one, MP Tunnel Track Dark. Selected area. Then I've got to select this. Begin. Yes. There we go. Now I actually need to see what height this is set to. 11.24. Nope, that's the wrong one. Okay, 11.24. There we go. Just so that the ballast of the actual tracks I'm using is kind of, it's not cut off That's what I mean. Right. Writers, maybe? I don't know what template to use. I can't help you, unfortunately. Although maybe if you're going to the trouble of figuring all this stuff out now once, maybe it would be good for you to make like to make a repaint template so that you don't have to do all this work again if you ever want to make another repaint for this particular bus. So now I've got to lower this down slightly to have a relatively flat spline. Though it does have to continue on for quite a bit, because you can see that you can kind of look under the terrain there. So it does have to continue on and intersect the terrain all the way back there so that you don't look through under the terrain. Oh, hey, Mr. Snipes, welcome. Shut up of that. Kango says, Blue, maybe look at existing templates on image and in-game to see where's what. Repaints. Yeah, I think I'll have to. Hope it goes well. Mr. Snipe says, Century of Steam looks pretty fancy. It does. They put a lot of time and effort into all of the simulation aspects of their game. I have been watching the update videos, the devlog update videos with Kango, and yeah, it seems they are really passionate about the project and about the topic, and that they basically give a damn about whether the game turns out to be good or not, in more ways than one. Okay. Yeah, see, this requires improvements on N3V's side. Like moving this particular spline point up or down, like if I zoom in, you can see that there is a white, it turns white occasionally. Like this, the whole thing sometimes, like that, the whole thing turns white. That won't do it. If I've positioned the mouse pointer there, it's only that little section down there that turns white. And then if I click and drag at that then raises it. But because it's a difference between yellow and white, it's so hard to see the difference. That could really do with some improving. Right. Oh, hey, it's been so long. I watched an hour-long video on their air brake system. Yeah, I think that's the one that Kango and I also watched. Yeah, for the National, I'm trying to make the template sensible. It should be orange and white, China. It's like your logo. It should be... Or maybe if you hold down a keyboard shortcut, then it will only allow you to select the gizmo arrows. Well, the gizmo lines instead of the vertical line. Or something like that. This feels like skin grafting, only it's with grass turf. Well, that's a fun way of thinking about it. Thank you. Right, I've got to get the actual spline embankment. There we go. That's a thought. Haha. A bit gross, but hey ho. It's a bit gross, but hey ho. That is funny. Right, now this needs to go along here. I need to select the... There we go. Managed to select the proper one. I hate this sentence. Yeah, it's certainly a memorable sentence. I can't find a repaint with an example. Aww. Right, so now I need to make sure that this covers the whole thing. That's going to be a little annoying there. That really just needs to bend around like that. Doesn't the bus include any? Says Kango Fango. Right, then I'll put another spline up here, not because it's needed to hide the terrain, but because it just makes the transition a bit smoother. It doesn't go up and then down and then up, it's just a little bit more of a smoother bank like that. I'll make this go down a little bit more. Yeah, stuff like that. Put one on here. And actually I'll set the grade to 0, well, to nothing. And yes, there's a difference. Because 0 means it'll stay flat. If you just delete the value of it, then it means it'll just follow the terrain height. Okay, and then I'm going to raise that up a bit. Actually, if I move that over, how far can I... Oh, I can't move it that far. I need to put in a new spline point there. I'm going to move that down because I don't want it to clip through. And actually, I think I've got to do a little bit of terraforming here. Yeah, lower that point down because then I'll have a bit more vertical space, so I can lower this down. And that needs to go just about there. And then I need to raise that up a bit. Is that now? Okay, that has to be about that high. Right, chat. Hide it with bushes. We won't tell anyone there's a portal to the underside of the map there. Well, I would, and that's what I did with the MVR initially, but as it turns out, sometimes, because of how... So, with a tunnel like this, I have to use these dig hole objects that basically take a section of the terrain. I think it's like a 10 by 10 meter section of the terrain, or maybe 5 by 5 meter or whatever, and make it invisible so that you can actually look through the tunnel. Because this is a tunnel that isn't locked to the 90-degree angles for the portals. So, but those dig holes seemingly have to also manipulate the terrain to their height somewhere. Not the visual terrain here that you can see, but the actual height data of the terrain. So, actually that's not a good example there. I'm not sure whether... yeah, like here, for example, you can see the 3D cursor is just hovering in the air around here. And you can see that the spline points actually pulled up to that height as well. Like those, like the little green dots there you can see here. I'm not sure how well that goes across in compression. But basically, they mess with the terrain height in regards to collisions. Not necessarily the visuals, but in regards to collisions. And that means that if I put a bush, say, here, it might be floating, or it might be in the ground, what it sees as being on the ground, at ground height, might actually be floating or be buried. So then what I did on the MVR is I just adjusted the height so that it fit perfectly. Unfortunately, Trainz is a buggy game. And sometimes players, I found this out in beta testing, sometimes players, when they load this area, the objects that are placed in those specific spots forget either what height they're set to, or more likely, they forget what the wrong terrain height is supposed to be until you move them slightly. Which means that you just had these floating rock and bush objects around tunnel entrances, even though I placed them perfectly fine, and in my testing they were perfectly fine, other people fine, someone loads it up, same version of Trainz, everything, no. Which means around tunnel portals that use dig holes, I cannot use objects to hide the stuff. I can only use splines. And like even over here, these bushes here might be a little close. Like the dig holes kind of go around here, so these are probably fine, especially since the spline point height, the little yellow lines, actually do match up with the terrain here. So there probably isn't an issue on this particular location. But still, putting in something any closer and changing its height, not a good idea. So yes, SCL bushes here. I kinda overwrite all the originals files because I'm too lazy to CTI interior. I do not know what that means. Oh, maybe copy your repaint files out and then reinstall the Masterbus Gen 3 pack. Also, dig holes are still temper even with HD terrain, yeah? I have no idea if they even work with the HD terrain. I don't know. Yeah, I've decided to leave it, and then I can remake it when I get some better reference anyway. I see. Right, hope it goes well when you do return to it. Thanks. In the meantime, let's have a look at what I've already done. Ooh. Yay. Kind of like how track and road splines forget the right height and completely ruin a map. What? Track and road splines forget their height as well? Since when? I've never encountered that issue. Is that in what version of Trainz have you had that happen? Oh yeah, like here's a good example. Like for example, this spline here is supposed to be flowing over the terrain. And like over here, you can see that it is following the terrain nicely. But over here, look at that. Look at how that is supposedly flowing over the terrain. So I've got to put that there, and then if I change the height of the spline, this then is completely independent of the terrain. Like with objects, if I change the height, it's still relative to the ground height. With splines, it's a completely independent value. That's why they're safe to use around portal entrances with dig holes. Tunnel entrances with dig holes, yeah. And I do think that I'll do a little tiny bit of terraforming there probably, because that's right on the edge. Trace.ctl files are text files on the two users which come with every repaint or set of repaints. Basically it tells the game this is what the repaint should be called in the list, and that's the textures it should use. I've had that issue. Load a map and all of a sudden the tracks are underground or a road vanishes in the terrain where it was fine before. CTI, not CTL, sorry. In what version of the game was that, and have you reported it? Because I have never had that happen to me, luckily. That sounds like a headache and a half. Yeah. I've also had it forget the bend shape, and all of a sudden the tracks are going through trees and buildings. 2019. Oh, was that shortly after release? Where they, because with Trainz games, they tend to be really buggy in Service Pack 1, or rather the base version of the game, and then they usually fix some stuff in Service Packs. Or was this already in an updated, supposedly fixed version of the game? Yeah, I'll put a little bit more of a spline there just to kind of break that up a little bit. Did you also, you could do a database rebuild. Maybe that fixes it. Maybe something got corrupted. You think Trainz is bad for objects moving? Try green foot. Why are we talking about green feet? What I don't know what that is, sorry. Imagine if someday Trainz introduced a new AJS dig hole circular asset. Ooh, that would be interesting. I mean, with the HD terrain, I suppose you could effectively do that. If it indeed supports dig holes, which I'm not sure that it does. Don't you mean green toe? Huh. No, this was about 2 years ago, so. In that case, I would say database rebuild. Yeah, if stuff like that happens, I would suggest an extended database. Yeah, an extended database rebuild, which you can do by holding down Control before you press the database rebuild button. And incidentally, this weird terrain height also affects the first person walking around camera. So you can see you just walk up into thin air. As far as I know, HD Trainz still has regular dig holes. Okay, I see. Yeah, just leave the database repair run overnight. Probably won't take that long. Well, it depends on how many assets you've got installed, I suppose. But it has taken really long for me in Tiers 19 with the old computer. But that was most likely just an old computer. As far as I know, HD Trainz, yeah. Yeah, just leave the data, yeah, okay, is what it's just. Hans says, yes, dig holes on HD terrain work the same as on regular terrain. So do you still get the, I'm assuming you would still get the collision issues, because, I mean, as a game developer, probably even in HD terrain, it's just the visuals that are HD. The actual terrain height model is probably still the low resolution model, I would assume. Blue says, also today I discovered that the alt text for the Go Ahead logo on Metrobus website says Go Northwest is part of Go Ahead. Go ahead. Go Northwest. See what I care. Do you mean like that? Or do you think they mean like that? Go Northwest is Manchester. Oh, I see. So they mean go Northwest until you reach Manchester. Okay, I've got to move this over to the side slightly. Right, and then this is tricky because normally I walk into the tunnel a bit to see if you can look down under the terrain because of the HD terrain. Well, no, not HD terrain, the parallaxing. I can't really do that here. Okay. Actually, maybe putting on the third rail would have been less finicky than this. Probably not by much. I mean, it would probably have been less finicky, but would probably also have been more boring. This is going to be tricky. Because this has to cover that little gap there. I suppose it might be best to have it just go around in a curve, sort of like this-ish. Although then I'd have to move it down more. Yeah, that little gap there, that's really annoying. I guess maybe terraforming might be the best solution for this then. Yeah, like that. And then maybe use another spline that goes like this. Sort of like that. And that needs to be a little bit steeper to fill in that gap properly, like that. Right, shadows, go northwest, G&E, pick here. Sure, I'll pick that one. Ah, I see. That's pre-G&E days, technically go coastline. Yeah, but delivery is the same, right? ME2, hello ME2. Lurkety lurk, lurkety lurk. Lurk lurk. Well, hello ME2. Yeah, just feel free to, yeah, you can lurk as much as you want, the doors are locked. Right, G&W exists because First Bus withdrew their depot in Manchester, which ironically G&W lost when the B network came in, so it's now with Stagecoach. Right, yeah. I think I was thinking of going northeast. No, GW is not that old, but has had a variety of livery attempts. Livery attempts. I think that goes a long way toward showing how you feel about their liveries. Right, so I gotta hide that. Ooh, that looks weird. That looks really weird. Oh, why must this be so... You can't really bring that up. That looks... I might be able to put like a boulder spline thing there. Gotcha, got confused, yeah. I confused the two. Bugger off! No! Jamie says, washing windows out here. Nothing suspicious. Yeah. What's that stack of paper doing in your inventory then with the camera? Okay. Yeah, see, this is really... I suppose I need to just flatten this a bit. Yeah, that is a bit better. Still not ideal, but... And you can quote me on that. Not that you have to, because it's not a particularly funny or good quote, but you can, if you want to, quote me on that. Okay, just... there we go. I mean, if you're going through here at like 80 miles an hour, it's gonna be... it's gonna look fine. I seem to be a lot less involved in all the back and forth banter than Emichu, haha. Emichu not Kango, yeah. Right. A lot less weddings too. On one of their liveries... Oh, one of the liveries wasn't too bad. But it's just they never really settled on an identity, and some of the applications were questionable. Have I ever been married in Twitch chat? Can't remember now. Now, now that all of Manchester is disgusting urine yellow. What do you mean? Do you mean like the which one? Where is it? Do you mean the big lemon? Do you mean this? Is that the one you're complaining about? I really like that tone of yellow. It reminds me of the yellow buses that Bournemouth used to have. Right. Where was I in chat? Yeah, B network. Oh, B network. Is that something different? Jamie says, nothing. Dinosaur pictures only, I swear. Yeah. Sure, exactly. Selfie, roar. Bop. Hans is here too, by the way. Hey Hans, hello. Oh, Shadow of Khan, welcome. How are you doing? Emichu, yes. You've said hello to Blue, but how about the rest of us? Really? Shadow is disgusting urine yellow. Oh, is that? I hope that's, yeah. Oh, I see what you mean. The kind of pale yellow. It looks like an unripe lemon, I would say. Either an unripe lemon or an unripe pineapple. But yeah, I prefer a more kind of stronger, saturated, deeper yellow as well. No, the B network chose an awful yellow. The newer buses are a bit more saturated, but most of them aren't. Plus, they've tried to make every bus look like an E400 City, which means overpainting in black. It's like a bus in drag. Oh, you slag, I just got that. Really? Oh, hi ho. Oh, I've just got it. I only got it after you got it, yeah. Took me a moment. Me too. Sheriff Khan says, I'm doing well so far. And you? Yep, doing well. With the exception of the annoying dig holes in trains. But other than that, I'm doing quite well. Right, so that I think is probably good enough to, well, I guess I'm gonna have to go in driver and drive through it to see if you can actually look under the terrain on bits or not. So yeah, let's just do that quickly. Overpainting example. Oh, you mean, yeah, like that and here. Although, I mean, it does look more... What's the word I'm looking for? It looks more detailed, more deliberate in a way. Like, if you've got the whole bus just the same shade of yellow, that's it, then that can look good. But with specific black shapes going around it, it does make it look a bit more as though more design went into the livery. Even though that's not necessarily true, it does look like it. Although, can we take a moment to talk about who thought it was a good idea to put a big sticker on the front window of a double-decker bus? I know that it's little dots only, so you can look through it because you can see the light through it. But still, that is really annoying. Who thought that that was a good idea? Because if you're watching this, no, it's not a good idea. You should take public transport sometimes. Sorry, but that's like, why would you do that? And I'm getting ready to join the B network. Why? That's not advertising your buses. That's saying... Anyway, that's enough of that. Get it off my screen. Yeah. Kind of example is how it should look. Oh, right. Oh, the black eyeshadow. And that's a good example. The others are worse. So strange, huh? Like, they try to make the bus appear more modern, futuristic than it is. It looks excusable on the street deck, but really not on other buses. Oh gosh, I just saw that. Yeah. Innocent smile, Jamie. Innocent smile, yeah. The little dots still are awful to look through. Yeah, exactly. I mean, that was a thing that annoyed me ever since I was little. When there was a bus and it was full, so you had to sit on seats that had like an ad printed over the window, little dots, an ad. That I always found that annoying. Saw X. Saw 10. Saw 10! 10 what? Literally, those people have never been on a bus. And the irony is that the company making the vinyl is called Contravision. I mean, that is fitting. Contravision, yeah. Contra, against. Yeah, I know what contra means. Okay, so the goal of this is to have a look in these areas when we exit the tunnel and to see if we can see the sky through the ground. Oh, was that the advert on the side of the bus? I didn't catch it, sorry. Saw 10, the newest Saw movie. Oh, I see. I see. Bloody inexcusable if you ask me. Hey, buses are large and draw large amounts of attention. Let's put adverts all over it. 1, 2, and 10, only good ones. I've not seen any of them, so I've no idea. The ads and trailers were longer than the film I saw yesterday. I'm confident. What film? Neverending Story film. Yeah. I mean, for as good as the Neverending Story film is, I do prefer the book. Not only because the book has more storylines, like more core story to a lot of it. There's so much of it that got cut for the film that is just such a shame, because a lot of that is, yeah, you can see it through there. I need to extend that a bit, because so much of it to me is so valuable for the whole story to work properly. And then they also didn't pay attention to continuity in some bits with the film. Like, for example, with... Oh, what was the... yeah, I saw that there was some terrain visible through the tunnel. Thank you. Also, hello, Code Monkey. What was the horse's name again? The boy was Atreyu. What was the horse's name? But anyway, yeah, you can see through there as well, the terrain. But anyway, with the horse, spoilers, by the way, if you don't want to know about the Neverending Story, just mute until I raise my hand. With the horse drowning in the swamp of sadness, in the book, the horse stays dead. That's what makes that impactful. Whereas in the film, at the end of the film, they've just reused footage from before with the titles, I think, or in the ending shots, cinematic footage, where you can see the horse, Atreyu on the horse, I think Atreyu on the horse, maybe just the horse, running over meadows as though the world being saved resurrected the horse, which it didn't. And also that the whole fall of, what was the reader's name, the IRL kid who gets pulled in the story. Like that whole arc with the lost with him stopping the world and then making everything, and the whole thing of him recreating the world from lights and the way that the forests spring out of his imagination and all of those, the whole world, but each thing he creates losing him a memory and his identity becoming thinner and thinner as he creates more and more to recreate the world from scratch, and how that is described and depicted and how he lives in that world, and where he then, when he forgets who he was, when he goes to that ruined, I think it was a ruined city, where, was it the other previous people who went in to create the world, like that's where they go, like the people who've completely forgotten who they are, and all of that, and the big egg in the sky, was it in the sky? I think the big egg in the sky where the childlike princess climbs the ladder and goes in and talks with the scribe there, and where she then goes to the book and where that goes into the loop to force the kid to go in to stop that, to save the world. That, all of that is either not present in the film or is so incredibly thinned out that it just, as someone who knows the story from the book, it just thins it out so much. But that is a comparison. That doesn't mean that the film itself is bad for those reasons. If you just look at the film as its own piece of art, it just means that in comparison to the book, there's a lot more in the book that I think is valuable and that I prefer. But comparing a film and a book is inherently unfair in some ways. Anyway, Hans is off. Bye, Hans. Oh, we've only got only 4 minutes left or something. Time to read chat. Anyway, hands up. Hello, you can unmute. Right here, right now. For me, I pictured it all so differently than the movie portrayed it all. Some terrain is visible at the top. Yes, already. Right here, right now. Is that the... Oh. Sure. American concert film. Oh, concert film. Concert film is a film that showcases a live performance of a... Oh, right. I see, yeah. Ghost. Artemis or something. Atreyu, gosh, oh yeah. Have enough to bed. Have fun, everyone. Oh yeah. No, Atreyu was the boy. Like, Atreyu was the hero from the grassy... Yeah, like, he was from the grass ocean. He was like a boy from the grass oceans, where... Like, he was from a nomadic people, where he went on that adventure. Like, there were horse herding people on the grass oceans, where he came from. The horse was a different name. Horse was called Atrax, apparently. That sounds right. Oh, Bastian! Yeah, there we go. Also, in the book, you've got the different colors for who's talking, whether it's the book he's reading that we're reading, or whether it's him in the real world talking, and how those colors of the text change to mean different things. That's also really good. Atreyu was the protagonist of the book Sebastian read. Yes. Shredder, Sebastian! Oh, I saw the ending of him on the horse was him being dead. What? Oh, I saw the ending of him on the horse was him being dead. It's been a long time since I've seen the film, but I have seen it multiple times, and I never saw it that way, because I'm pretty sure that it's the exact same shot that they used previously in the film in the travel montage. And he was saved in the end, though. I'm pretty sure. The boy was saved, like Atreyu was saved in the end. I'm pretty sure. And then, but the horse stayed dead. It was incredible! Hey, nice. Apparently coming to Disney Plus on July 8th, according to rumors. So maybe we can watch it sometime together, and should anyone be interested, we can skip the songs part for just the story if people wish to. Maybe, we'll see. I don't really know much about it, so I can't say right now. Yeah, hands off. Props already left. First Ghost, as in the band Ghost. Yes. Yes, right now it's a concert film, in that it was a recording of a special concert, extended with extra songs, recordings high quality, and no phones, devices mixed in with some crazy lore. Is Bastion always just an abbreviation of Sebastian? I'm not sure. Maybe. I mean, Bastion, as in a refuge, is a thing, but I don't know. Some really funny parts too. Nice. I'm glad that it fulfilled your expectations and that it was so good. Like, he died and joined the horse in the afterlife or something. I was like 8 or something, huh? Yeah, I never thought of it like that. I thought that he was saved and they just reused stock footage because it was the exact same shot that they used previously in the film, and there was no particular attention brought to the fact that the horse returned. There was no reunion, as far as I remember at least. It has been many years since I've seen the film, but as far as I remember, there was no reunion with the horse. There was no there was no attention drawn to him dying and being in an afterlife. As far as I remember it, and how I understood it, it's just a reused shot that depicts something that it shouldn't, because it was in the original shot. But I might be mistaken. It's been years since I've seen that film. Gosh, they had films in the 1760s? Of course! When do you think films were invented? I mean, they had films back in the 1890s BCE. Right. Sebastian from the Sea Bastion. Yeah, that's the root name. 2023? Thumber. Oh, right, thumbnail. I mean, there's no shortage of new stuff here. So I suppose maybe... maybe something like this could be good? Well... yeah, something like that, probably. Put the 465 in there? Maybe. Hold on. I'm glad that I'm... actually, I can't really do that. Well, I could if I dragged it back slightly like that. Yeah, I'm glad that I'm developing this off stream as well, because the amount of progress that we made today was not a lot. Turn around so the red lights are on. I can't. It would be past the signal if I did that. Although I suppose I could have it be past the signal. I've got those two. I'll take one without a train. There's a lot of fine details there that might not carry over well onto a thumbnail. Ooh, that could be really nice though. Oh, that's the wrong thing. Yeah, I'll take one like that. I will rotate it because I might be able to just put in the flares in post. And I'll take one without the train here as well, because it might be good to just have the unencumbered view of the bridge there, but it depends on the size. Because of course with a tiny thumbnail, you won't be able to see a lot of the detail. So, yeah, I guess that is that. Last reading of chat, and then good night to everybody. So, yeah, I already read that. Could be motion, yeah. I like the one without it best. I mean, yeah, but it depends on how recognizable it is on a little thumbnail. Thanks for the company. You are welcome. Thanks for your company. Shadows modeled that train. Ooh, yes. Yes, over the wall. Yes. Oh, Shadows, show me through the ocean views. The ocean views? Okay, sure. Yeah, so as you come around this corner here, you see the ocean is revealed to you with the entire coastline back there, which is actually, most of it anyway, already modeled. So yeah, if we go along the coastline here, this bit from here isn't finished yet, obviously. But it's going to go over this big bridge. And then it comes into this town, which is called Oscombe, branches off, goes through this little walled section there, which took ages to make. And then you've got the little restaurant up here, where the two different lines meet. And then you've got Oscombe Beach, which is a nice little beach section with a station right there on the sands. And then, I mean, I won't go into all the details of like the line of sight and planning, all the stuff that I did, but yeah, then it carries on here. Nice little bridge over a little river there with a little park and some benches that you can imagine sitting on, having a little picnic, watching the trains go by. And then continues along, goes underneath here, passes over a viaduct, which also took ages to make. And then it kind of just curves into the countryside here with a little castle on top of the hill there. And then crosses over another viaduct a lot across the valley. We've got a little village underneath it, because I really like the idea of crossing over the valley and the train being above the roof height. That's quite a nice feeling when you drive over it. And so I put the sidewalk on the roads here, and there are loads of different little scenes in the village here. Like I put this observatory on the house with a little lady in the rocking chair there looking out at the trains going by and things like that. I put little Easter eggs in here. And then bus stops and public footpaths and all sorts of different things. Anyway, So it crosses over, then you've got an old disused station here, like a good station with a little water tank that used to be in use. And then as you curve around the other way, the ocean gets revealed to you yet again. As you curve around, head across a causeway sort of thing, sort of a semi-causeway sort of thing. And then you begin climbing up into the town of Hadley Head, which took ages to make because placing houses on a hill in Trainz, yeah, that takes time. But anyway, the end result I think is really good. Right, so then you come in here, cross over the crossing, and again you've got the brilliant view of the ocean. You kind of snake your way through town a bit and come into the final station of this line. So that's where the station ends, and also this station is made up of also loads of different bits and splines that are put together like this. So you've got Hadley Head here, you've got some parked cars and things like that. And you've also got a little disused funicular railway, which was used to get cargo from the docks up to the station and back. And then if you keep going up here, you've got a little bandstand and also a lighthouse with people standing there looking out at the ocean. And so you can see the entire coastline there. And it's such a great feeling when you're driving when you're driving trains, to see that coastline and to know that actually the railway goes along there and you can actually go there. Like that feeling in Skyrim, like you can go to that mountain, that sort of thing. So yeah, that's the coastline that Kanga wanted me to show you. Right. One last reading of chat, then I do need to go. Right. Over the garden wall, not watched that yet. Which town sells the best tacos on this route? I do not know. Probably the big, as of yet unnamed city. Defo Oscom. Oh, Oscom, yeah, that too. Heck yeah, looks nice. Maybe add a little ship out in far distance. Oh yeah, ships that's definitely something I will do, but I will put the ships in the specific scenarios so that each time you drive a train on here, like on a different scenario, it won't be the same ships in the same place. So it'll be different ships, different places, so that the world will feel more alive. Same with people or cars on the roads here. So I might have some people here walking on one session, or I might have someone riding a horse or something like that. But that's a good shout. A vile duck. You've put a lot of effort into this, dang. Yeah. I'm not disagreeing with you there. It's something that I care quite a bit about, that it is as good as it can be. Within reason, of course. Actually, those could be added in the specific gameplay sessions themselves. Yeah, exactly. So that the boat model position could be different. And separately, Show off your bins too. I mean, one second. Okay. Sure. It'll only take a second. So I modeled some assets, some houses as well, but I modeled a UK like doggy poo bin for added realism, and I also made a regular UK litter bin. And then Kango repainted it for the green version that, like, I think is used in parks. But yeah, so... And these assets are on the download station, so they're publicly available for anyone to download and use. Right. Oh, there was a nameplate on the lighthouse. Oh, was there? I'm not sure. So beautiful. Luton. Slough Hampstead Airfield. What about people cartwheeling? If there's a model for it, sure. I just saw a young lass do that behind the house. Yesterday. On the paved roads. That was me, sorry. Aw, You should have said hello when if you were down here. I used to be able to do that. Jesse! Yeah. Jim, you still can if you believe. Never seen a green park bin? Ours are boring and black. Well, the ones down here, if you go in a park, they're, as far as I know, always green. Anyway, yeah, you saw a pink, yeah, pink Fiat 500. That was you too. Right. I don't know if it's ever an exclusive thing. I have no idea. Right. So, thank you all very much for watching. The stream will be archived on YouTube. I need to also create a backup of the route. So, I guess it's up to the council. What council buys? Maybe. Anyway, bye-bye everybody. Thanks for watching. Have a good night. Bye-bye. We now have 5 different colors of domestic bins. Pick your poison. Oh. Bye-bye.